I divorced my wife, whom I cherished as my life. But ironically, she doesn't know it yet because her first love has come back. She has given all her passionate love without reservation to Julian, so much so that when I asked her to sign the divorce agreement, she just thought it was a contract from the foundation and signed it. I stared at the divorce agreement and laughed bitterly. She really didn't want to waste even a single bit of time on me. 8 years of marriage is like a joke. But fortunately, all of this will end completely after the divorce cooling off period. Since I'm going to leave Sophia, I have to make new plans for my future. I contacted my overseas mentor and said, "Teacher, I agree to join the drug research and development team." My mentor's voice was so excited that it was trembling. "Lucas, after all these years, I've finally been able to look forward to your coming. I believe your arrival will make this research and development team even better." I smiled and echoed my mentor with a few words. My mentor was a bit puzzled. "However, didn't you care most about Sophia back then? You gave up the most valuable opportunity to study abroad just to avoid being apart from her." My mentor smiled and teased, "Are you willing to leave her?" I stared at the divorce agreement, lost in thought, and then smiled casually. "It's okay, teacher. I'm divorced from her." My teacher was too surprised to say anything. I was so deeply in love with Sophia that I proposed to her 999 times, and finally, she reluctantly agreed. Everyone knew that the young man from the Lucas family was an infatuated person, and I was famous for loving my wife. After getting married, I always tried to melt the iceberg that was Sophia with all my love. But after 8 years of marriage, Sophia was still the same, I naively thought, but she was just born with such a personality, and I was ready to warm her with a sincere heart for the rest of my life. It wasn't until Julian returned to the country that I realized that Sophia also had a lovely and shy side. It turned out that she wasn't incapable of loving others. She just didn't love me. So I chose to withdraw voluntarily. No one expected that I would be the one to initiate the divorce. My teacher let out a sigh, and in the end could only comfort me. But apart from feeling that my efforts of these 8 years were in vain, I didn't have any other emotions. These days, I've been organizing the achievements I made during my college years, and my mentor is very interested in them. Since Julian returned to the country, Sophia hasn't been home much. The number of times I've seen her, I unexpectedly started counting on my fingers. When I realized it, I smiled self-deprecatingly and lowered my head. A pang of bitterness welled up in my heart. We haven't met more than 10 times in these 2 months. As I thought of this, Sophia actually opened the door and came home. She kicked off her high heels and casually threw her bag on the sofa, completely ignoring my presence and only focusing on chatting with someone on her phone. Sophia's posture at this moment was just like that of a young girl in love. But after 8 years of our marriage, in my memory, I've never seen her like this. I continued to organize the materials in my hand. Perhaps I made some noise, which made Sophia look up. There was a barely noticeable impatience in her eyes and brows. "Lucas, what are you doing so late at night? Go and draw me a bath now. Control the water temperature well and put some perfume in it." I paused for a moment and then got up and went to the bathroom. After all, for so many years, I've taken care of Sophia meticulously, and I'll be leaving in half a month. These half a month should be regarded as the last encounter of our many years of marriage. After filling the bathtub with water, Sophia put down her phone and went to the bathroom. Her phone kept ringing on the table. I was somehow driven to open her phone. Sophia's lock screen and wallpaper were all of Julian, and even her WeChat avatar was a subtly couple-themed one. The chat records and the chat box were all ambiguous messages in a tone and attitude that I had never experienced from Sophia. I scrolled to the chat records Sophia had saved, which were from 8 years ago. Suddenly, my heart ached as if it were being pricked by thousands of needles. It turned out that back then, when I was crazy about announcing our engagement to the whole world because Sophia had agreed to my proposal, it was just because Julian had announced his new girlfriend on his moments. My heart ached so much that I could hardly breathe. The taste of being let down by someone is really unpleasant. I tried my best to suppress the anger that was about to burst out in my heart, and tears welled up in my eyes involuntarily. I wiped the tears from my face randomly, trying to hide my embarrassment. After getting my emotions under control, I put down her phone and turned to go to the bedroom. I buried my head in the quilt, and my mixed emotions kept me from falling asleep. I don't know how long it took, but Sophia had finished her skincare routine and walked into the bedroom. In the past, no matter how late it was, I wouldn't go to bed before Sophia. I always took care of everything for her before going to sleep, but today, I didn't do that. It seemed that she noticed my unusual mood. Sophia unexpectedly suggested going to the aquarium. This was something I had pestered her to do on my birthday 2 months ago. I didn't expect Sophia to give me a gift or anything. I just wanted her to be with me, and that would be enough. I dressed up carefully for a long time that day, but the thing I was most afraid of still happened. Sophia stood me up. I sat dejectedly in the corner of the room and saw in the moments of our mutual friends that Sophia was busy throwing a huge welcome party for Julian's return. I nodded and agreed to go to the aquarium, which could be considered as making up for the regret at that time. Sophia was arranging the time. Maybe because I no longer had feelings for her, I didn't have the same anticipation as before. I didn't care what time she booked. In the end, we decided to go the next day. The next day, Sophia and I were woken up by the alarm clock. Instead of carefully arranging breakfast according to her taste, I took out some toast from the refrigerator, heated up some milk, and put them on the dining table. When Sophia came out after washing up and saw the breakfast on the table, she opened her mouth in surprise. There was nothing but dissatisfaction in her tone. "Lucas, although we're going out to play today, you can't be so careless. You know I hate eating these the most." She pouted and said reluctantly, "Forget it, let it be today. But you can't do this in the future. You have to follow the menu you designed properly." I couldn't help but smile softly in my heart. "But Sophia, there will be no future for us anymore." After we finished breakfast, we set off. There were a lot of couples in the aquarium, all taking photos. Sophia took out her phone and asked me to take some photos of her too. In fact, I was so excited about coming to the aquarium before that I couldn't sleep all night. I knew that girls like taking photos, and this place was very photogenic. So I bought a CCD camera and searched online for a lot of posing ideas for taking photos in the aquarium, fearing that she wouldn't know what poses to strike. Now that I didn't have that excitement anymore, I just took a few photos, as Sophia asked. After Sophia took the phone, she started typing on it with a big smile on her face. I didn't care either, and just admired the various fish in the pool on my own. My mentor suddenly called, and I walked a little away to answer it. "Lucas, have you finished all the procedures for going abroad?" "Yeah, it's all done," I replied. My mentor was a bit excited. "Great, I just feel that it's a bit unreal that you're coming." Sophia suddenly leaned in, frowned, and asked in confusion, "Procedures for going abroad? Are you going abroad?" Her voice gradually became shriller. I quickly hung up the phone and casually said, "I'm helping a senior with it." Only then did she look away from my face suspiciously. At this time, a staff member, seemingly to create an atmosphere, was looking for couples to take group photos on the spot. Then she came up to Sophia and me and asked if we could take a photo. Sophia and I have been married for 8 years, but it's ridiculous that we don't have any couple photos except for the wedding photos that her parents urged us to take back. Then, I thought Sophia wouldn't want to take a photo with me. Just as I was about to refuse, she put away her phone and agreed. Sophia moved closer to me and posed under the guidance of the staff, but I just stared at Sophia, lost in thought. This seemed to be the first time she was so proactive. It didn't matter anymore. I adjusted my posture when the staff was about to press the shutter button. Suddenly, a voice called out Sophia's name. Sophia looked in the direction of the voice. When she saw the person, it seemed that she froze. I forgot that we were still taking a photo here and walked over. Naturally, I stood there awkwardly and motioned for the staff to leave. "Julian, why are you here?" I said with a smile. "I saw the photo you sent me. I just came to this area." Sophia looked at the back of him with some confusion and asked, "Did you come here alone?" Julian scratched his head, looking a bit embarrassed. "Yeah, I saw that this place is really popular recently, but I couldn't find anyone to come with me." His words were interrupted by Sophia before he could finish. "Then why didn't you call me? How can you go without anyone accompanying you? Be sure to call me next time. No matter what, I'll accompany you." Sophia's eyes were full of pity looking at the two of them in front of me. I couldn't help but laugh at myself. So what was I when I was alone? Because Sophia stood me up time and time again in the past. She completely forgot about my existence and was about to leave arm in arm with Julian. It was Julian who reminded her, "Sophia, I think Lucas doesn't look too happy. Is he jealous? Maybe you'd better not hold my arm." Only then did Sophia look at me and say with certainty, "No, Lucas won't be jealous. He dotes on me the most." So she knew that I cared about her the most in the past, which was why she dared to touch my bottom line again and again. "With my love, Lucas, you can see that Julian is so pitiful all by himself. So let's wander around together. The three of us." "Okay," I agreed without the slightest hesitation. Sophia didn't notice anything unusual and turned her head to walk side by side with Julian, her eyes full of smiles. But this didn't seem to affect my mood. Sophia turned on the camera and occasionally recorded moments of her and Julian. The two of them looked incredibly happy, and I was like a thief peeking at someone else's happiness behind them. It's really sad to say that my wife of 8 years showed affection with her first love right in front of me. She really didn't care about me at all. Before I knew it, we came to a rest area where an activity was being held. Couples who completed a game together could get to cartoon ice creams. Julian looked at the ice cream with a face full of regret. "Sophia, do you remember when we were at school and went to the park to play a couples game together just to get a doll? It's just a pity that there was an accident in the park at that time." Upon hearing this, Sophia immediately comforted him. It's okay. It's not too late for us to do what we didn't finish back then. Before Julian could hesitate, Sophia pulled him into the activity area. When passing by me, Sophia unexpectedly explained to me, Lucas, don't mind, I'm just helping Julian make up for his regret. But she didn't seem to care about my answer. Sophia didn't even glance at me, but directly pulled Julian away. The words that were stuck in my throat suddenly got blocked. Forget it, I don't want to say it anymore. Sophia, what right do I have to mind? We're already divorced. But seeing the scene, I used to long for so much to be intimate with Sophia. Now, presented with another man, my heart still couldn't help but twitch, but it was only for a moment. Suddenly, I felt extremely bored, so I simply opened my phone and started to study the drug material sent to me by my mentor in advance. After the activity was over, I followed behind the two of them and wandered around for a long time. It was the first time I realized that I would feel bored, and it would be a bit difficult to endure being by Sophia's side. When we were leaving the aquarium, Sophia was discussing with Julian which restaurant to go to for dinner later. They were choosing a restaurant, but suddenly there was a burst of cheering and shouting from over there. We looked in the direction of the sound and saw that the stage set up in the aquarium had collapsed. Fortunately, no one was injured, so we didn't pay much attention. Just as we were about to leave, there was a bang. The sign on our side fell down. Sophia reacted quickly and pulled Julian out. I didn't have time to escape and was hit. A deep gash was scratched on my leg. I let out a muffled groan of pain and subconsciously called out Sophia's name. But when I looked up and saw her, her eyes were full of tears as she was blowing gently on the small wound on Julian's face with a look of pity. I laughed at myself. I already knew that she wouldn't care about me, yet I still called her name. I really brought trouble upon myself. Seeing the blood from my leg flowing all over the ground, the staff quickly came over with a first aid kit, but Sophia stopped them. Can't you see the wound on Julian's face? Treat him first. Julian's face can't be figured out. The staff explained to her, this customer is in a more serious condition. Please wait a moment. Sophia shed tears out of pity for Julian and said with a choke in her voice, bandage Julian first. Otherwise, I'll report you. Julian needs you more. Looking at the staff in a difficult situation, I had to give in. Bandage him first. I can manage on my own. Soon, many people surrounded Julian while I was all alone on my side and simply bandaged myself. When the staff finished dealing with Julian's side, I had already bandaged my wound. Sophia unexpectedly ran over, frowning and looking a bit hesitant. Lucas, you know that the face is the most important thing for Julian. You're in good health, and this little injury is nothing to you, okay? I didn't look at her. Sophia squatted down and actually used a coaxing tone. Then, can you go to the hospital by yourself? Julian's situation isn't good, and I need to take him to the hospital. First, I let out a sigh in my heart. It didn't matter anymore. I didn't expect anything from her now. After I agreed, Sophia left without looking back, but she left me with a sentence. I'll come back and make it up to you properly. I was suddenly taken aback. Did she feel guilty towards me? But I didn't take it to heart anyway. It didn't mean anything to me anymore. The wound was too deep, so after going to the hospital to apply medicine, I went back home. This house had become extremely warm and cozy because of my arrangement. I checked the time. There were only 10 days left before I left. It was time to pack my luggage. I packed up all the couple items in the room and threw them into the trash bin downstairs. Sophia had never used them even once. She said they were childish, but perhaps it was just because of me that she thought they were childish while she used all kinds of couple items with Julian. When packing my clothes, I didn't hesitate to throw all the clothes in the wardrobe away. Most of these were given to me by Sophia. I cherished them very much in the past, and even didn't want to wear them. But later, I saw in moments that my clothes were all the same style as Julian's. I also threw away all the birthday and commemorative gifts that Sophia gave me in the past. I framed these gifts and put them in my custom-made cabinet. Now that all the gifts were thrown away, the cabinet became empty at once. The room became as cold and desolate as when I first came here, without a trace of me left. Just like this, I stayed in this room for another 10 days. The alarm I set reminded me that I was leaving today, but today, Sophia came back, which surprised me a bit. I thought the time at the aquarium was the last time we would meet. She was holding a box of cranberry cake in her hand. Sophia used to like to buy me cranberry-flavored desserts, but I'm allergic to cranberries. I mentioned it to her several times, but she always forgot. Later, I realized that cranberries were something that Julian really liked to eat. This made me feel like I was just a substitute, but it didn't matter now. Sophia happily put the cake in front of me. Lucas, remember when I said I would make it up to you properly? I brought you your favorite cake, but I didn't look particularly surprised that she had prepared a cake for me. Then her eyes dimmed, and she seemed to feel a bit guilty. Lucas, I've ignored you a bit these days. Julian's face got infected, and he's closest to me in the country. Only I can take care of him, so can you please understand me? I looked up and met Sophia's guilty eyes. She felt a bit uncomfortable being stared at by me. Okay, I understand you. I never really got angry with her. I just didn't understand why she cared about my feelings. Now Sophia seemed satisfied with my attitude. Only then did she notice the empty house and frowned in confusion. Why is the house all empty? I softly said, oh, these things were all old, so I threw them away. You can buy new ones if you see something you like later. She walked up to the empty cabinet. You threw these away too. These are the gifts I gave you. I didn't want to argue with her. They were all gathering dust there, so I packed them up. Sophia then gave up. Okay then, she got excited again. I'll make you a bowl of noodles. I think my cooking skills have improved recently. That's okay. The plane will fly for 16 hours. It's better to leave after having a full meal, but she came out of the kitchen soon after, frowning and looking a bit hesitant. Lucas Julian needs to go to the hospital to change his dressing, and there's no one to accompany him. You know his personality. Okay, even if I didn't agree, she would still go. Besides, what right did I have to disagree? She hurriedly changed her clothes. When she went to the entrance to change her shoes, she didn't forget to point at the suitcase and say, Lucas, put the suitcase away. What's it doing in the living room? It looks messy. Okay, I would be pulling the suitcase and leaving. Soon after she left, I went to the kitchen and continued to finish making the noodles. After eating the noodles, I placed the divorce agreement that I had already signed on the table. Sophia would be able to see it as soon as she entered the door. I took one last look at the house that I had lived in for 8 years, but which was still so cold. There was no reluctance in my heart. There was only an indescribable sense of relief. When I arrived at the airport, I happened to meet a mutual friend of mine and Sophia's. She was a bit surprised to see the suitcase in my hand. Why are you carrying the suitcase alone? Aren't you taking Sophia with you on the trip? Be careful, or I'll tell on you. I chuckled softly. I'm not going on a trip. There was confusion in her eyes and brows. Usually, I wouldn't leave Sophia alone and go on a long journey. I'm going to a research and development team abroad. Then her eyes were filled with surprise. Does Sophia agree to let you go? I glanced at my watch. I have nothing to do with her now. The boarding time was approaching. I greeted her and then left. She was still in a state of surprise. When the plane was taking off, the flight attendant reminded me to turn off my phone. I looked at my phone and saw that Sophia had sent me a message. I could feel the panic in her tone. I heard from Pan that you're going abroad. She must be joking with me. Take a photo of yourself for me right now. I felt a bit helpless. After letting out a soft sigh, I replied to her message. She's not joking. It's already over between us. The atmosphere on the WeChat side changed immediately. Answer my call. I could guess what she was going to say before she called. I turned off my phone. It was all over between me and Sophia. When I woke up from sleep, the plane had landed. My senior brothers and sisters had been waiting for me at the airport, holding the suitcase. I saw the sign they were holding up. Welcome our most beloved Lucas. My eyes suddenly welled up with tears. My mentor was like a family member to me. When I was at school, he was the person I would never forget in my life, and my senior brothers and sisters were also incredibly kind to me back then. Compared to the person I had been sticking with for so many years, they seemed much more affectionate. Coincidentally, they also saw me. They put away the sign and rushed over immediately. A group of people pounced on me, and I almost lost my balance. Lucas, you kid, if you didn't come at this time, we might not be able to meet in this lifetime. By the way, you love Sophia so much. How could you bear to divorce her? Hey, you kid, we can't do anything to let her down. That's really not what a man should do. I smiled and teased them. How could that be possible? Then a trace of sadness inadvertently showed in my eyes. Everyone was a bit confused and carefully asked me what had happened. I let out a sigh. I had already let go of this matter, so I didn't find it difficult to talk about. I told them everything, about Sophia and Julian. After hearing this, everyone was very angry and also felt sorry for me. It turned out that I had been living such a tough life for these 8 years, but I had already let it go, so I didn't think it was a big deal. After chatting for a while, they took me to my accommodation. The unfamiliar face in front of me was a junior sister who was a few grades younger than me. She helped me take care of everything. Just when I was free, Sophia called. I hesitated for a moment and then answered it. Lucas, what's going on with the divorce agreement on the table? Do you think you can deceive me with a fake one? Where have you hidden? Now come home immediately. It was the first time I had seen Sophia lose control. I let out a sigh and reminded her. Do you still remember the contract that you thought was from the foundation and you signed last time? That was the divorce agreement. I sneered softly. We've already been divorced. Sophia, you signed it with your own hand. Sophia lost her composure again. She tried hard to hold back her sobs. No, it's not like that. I didn't want to sign it, but my original intention wasn't to sign the divorce agreement. This divorce agreement doesn't count. I was so angry at Sophia that I laughed. It's written in black and white. How can it not count? There was a trace of pleading in Sophia's tone. Lucas, this time doesn't count. I beg you to come back. Okay, you threw away all the things at home. I can't sense even a bit of your presence. Hearing Sophia's words, I couldn't help but sneer. I didn't understand why, now that I had left and didn't pester her. She could be with Julian to make up for the regret of the past. But why was she begging me to go back? Was she addicted to treating me as a substitute? I suddenly felt very tired. No, we're already divorced. Let's not bother each other from now on. After hanging up the phone, I pulled out the phone card and threw it aside. I asked my junior sister to help me get a local phone number. I was sitting on the sofa feebly. Now seeing this, my junior sister thought that I still had feelings for Sophia and actually tried to persuade me. Senior brother, do you and sister-in-law have some kind of misunderstanding? Don't drag it on. Otherwise, this matter will gradually take root. The longer it's delayed, it's better to talk things out. I gently shook my head. No, I just suddenly feel a bit tired. It was getting late. After seeing my junior sister off, I made myself dinner and then went to bed. Even though I had slept on the plane, I still felt very sleepy and tired. Sophia had disappeared from my world, and I felt an unprecedented sense of ease in my life. Gradually, I got used to life here, but on this day, my good friend sent me a dozen emails. His words were full of anxiety. Lucas, why did you go abroad without saying a word? Sophia has gone crazy ever since she knew you left. She has been desperately looking for you and asking around for your news everywhere. Wow, you don't know how haggard she is now. I've never seen her like this before. She comes to me every day and asks about your situation. But I can't get in touch with you either. I suddenly remembered that we still have email. No matter where you are now, come back quickly. Otherwise, Sophia will really go crazy. After going through the emails my friend sent, I had mixed feelings in my heart. I found her old phone number and called it. Ethan, you've been troubled by this these days. If she comes to you again and asks about me, don't open the door for her. At this moment, there was an inexplicable anger in my heart. Let her go crazy however she wants. Ethan, on the other end, was silent for a while and then asked me, do you really plan to separate from her? When have you ever seen me joke about divorce? In the past, I didn't even dare to say a harsh word to Sophia. I was so humble that I never dared to mention breaking up because I knew she didn't love me, and I was afraid that she would really leave without looking back. There was a sigh on the other end of the phone. You make me not believe in love anymore. You loved her so much before, yet there would still be a day when you two would part ways. I chuckled softly. That's because I hadn't found the right person. After chatting for a few minutes, we hung up the phone. I immediately changed my clothes and prepared to go to the laboratory. Today was the first time I had set foot in the lab again after so many years, and I was really a bit nervous. I was in a group with my junior sister. After she first explained the precautions of this experiment to me, we started the experiment. I focused all my attention on the experiment, and time flew by. It turned out that not having to guess Sophia's thoughts every day and being able to focus on doing my own things was so refreshing. I hadn't experienced this feeling for a long time. My junior sister and I had a great tacit understanding, and we could pass an experiment several times just like this. Day after day, I went between the laboratory, the cafeteria, and home in a 3-point line. 2 months passed, and I didn't feel bored at all. I even felt that time passed quickly. We developed a kind of drug that was helpful in the medical field. We won a trophy, and they even did an interview specifically for us. Our interview became really popular. Even friends in our home country called to congratulate me. I thought it was nothing special, and everything was as usual. Sophia was about to completely disappear from my mind when she appeared again as I was going out to do an experiment. Sophia was actually waiting downstairs in my house. This surprised me a lot. She was completely different from before. She didn't have her delicate makeup on, her face was very haggard, and she hadn't even taken care of her hair much. She looked more than 10 years older than me. I originally wanted to bypass her and leave, but when Sophia saw me, she ran towards me frantically. I instinctively stepped back to avoid her, but Sophia suddenly hugged me. As soon as she hugged me, tears streamed down her face, and there was resentment in her voice. Lucas, no matter how angry you are, you can't just disappear for so long. Do you know how much I've missed you these days? If I hadn't seen your video online and found out your address, would you have ignored me for the rest of your life? I held up my hands and stood there in a daze for a long time. After coming to my senses, I pushed her away with all my might. Miss Sophia, please mind your boundaries. We're already divorced. When the topic of divorce was brought up, Sophia became even sadder, and tears streamed down her face. How dare you mention divorce? Why did you trick me into divorcing? Are you really that bothered by my relationship with Julian? I only consider him a good friend now. It's not at all what you think, Lucas. This time I know I was wrong, and I'll keep a proper distance from him. Will you come home with me? Sophia pouted and grabbed my hand, actually acting coy. This was the first time I had ever seen Sophia like this. If it were in the past, as soon as she said the first word, my heart would have melted like a puddle of water, and I would have definitely hugged her without hesitation. This was the way I had always hoped to see her. But now, facing her pestering, I actually felt extremely annoyed. I pushed her hand away and was about to leave. No, please don't bother me. I still have a day's worth of experiments to do today. Sophia trotted after me. Lucas, are you still angry? Then let me coax you. Okay, you love me so much. I don't believe you would suddenly abandon me. I was so angry at Sophia's words that I laughed. Love and lack of love don't happen all at once. You know that. I loved you so much. But when I made up my mind to leave you, it was because I had already accumulated enough disappointment. I gave Sophia a sidelong glance out of the corner of my eye, ignored her, and continued walking forward. When I got to the building of the laboratory, I used facial recognition to enter the building, but Sophia was stopped outside. She shouted at me loudly from outside. Lucas, let me go in with you. I want to be with you. Please don't leave me. Okay, I just felt a bit embarrassed and walked away quickly with big strides. It wasn't until I got back to the laboratory that I let go of the tense feeling in my heart. I let out a long sigh. Sophia was really crazy. She actually chased me all the way abroad. After suppressing my emotions, I began to focus on the experiment. A moment later, my senior brother entered the laboratory. Lucas, is that Sophia downstairs? She looks so haggard that I can hardly recognize her, he said. I put down the equipment in my hand. Yeah, I replied. He was a bit surprised. Did she come all the way abroad to find you? I don't know. Whatever the reason she's here for, it has nothing to do with me anymore. My senior brother actually felt a bit sorry for me. If you can't let her go, then go to her. I know that the person you love the most in your heart is her. Without her, it will be very difficult for you to fall in love with someone else again. I felt a bit dissatisfied. Senior brother, I don't love her anymore. Letting go really happens in an instant. If she hadn't come today, I would have almost forgotten about her. When my senior brother saw that I was getting impatient about this matter, he didn't say anything more. We had lunch at the restaurant next to the laboratory. In the evening, everyone was going to a dinner party. Since I didn't have anything else to do, I agreed. But when we got downstairs, Sophia was still there. It was raining outside, and she was under the eaves. Most of her clothes were splashed with water. When she saw me coming, Sophia pounced on me like a hungry wolf. Lucas, you're willing to come out and see me. You still care about me, right? I gave Sophia a disdainful look, who gave her the confidence. Then I said calmly, I finished my experiment. That's why I came down. But Sophia didn't seem to understand. She forced a smile on her lips. Then let's go eat. I've been searching all day for where the food is delicious here. Can I take you there? Sophia's words were cautious. I finally lost my patience with her and lost my temper for the first time. Sophia, have you had enough of this nonsense? We're already divorced. Can't you understand that? Are you stupid? Your appearance is really annoying me. Don't bother me anymore in the future. My voice was so loud that everyone present was too surprised to say anything. After a moment of silence, for more than 10 seconds, I took my senior brother and sister and left with umbrellas. Sophia didn't have an umbrella, but she still rushed into the rain and followed us. We hailed a taxi and went to the restaurant where the dinner party was held. But to my anger, Sophia also followed us to the restaurant. I remained silent. My senior brother, in order to ease the awkward atmosphere, invited Sophia to sit down and eat with us. Her clothes were completely wet, and she sat next to me. Lucas, my clothes are wet. Will you accompany me to the mall to buy a new set of clothes later? I didn't want to pay attention to her, so I buried my head in my food. Occasionally, when my senior brother talked about a topic that interested me, I would chime in, but Sophia still didn't give up. Lucas, I know that maybe I was too cold to you in the past and hurt your heart, but it won't be like that in the future. Please, believe me. She looked at me with a determined gaze. You know what? After you left, I realized that I can't live without you at all. I love you to the point of no return. Hearing her words, I couldn't help but sneer. Really? Then you're really pathetic. I ignored her, and she kept talking. In the middle of the meal, Sophia received a phone call. It was about Julian, and it seemed to be his mother. Sophia, where are you now? Julian is threatening to commit suicide, and I can't stop him. Ever since you said those harsh words to him the other day, he's locked himself in his room and refuses to eat or drink. You know that he listens to you the most. Please come and persuade him. Sophia immediately said harshly, if he wants to die, let him die. He was fine abroad. Why did he come back? It's all his fault that Lucas divorced me. The atmosphere at the dining table was very tense. While Sophia was distracted, I apologized to my senior brothers and sisters and left. When Sophia realized it, I had already taken a taxi and left. I lay back in the seat of the taxi, relieved. Her pestering really annoyed me. For a moment, I really didn't know how to get rid of her. But not long after I got home, An unfamiliar number called me. Hello, are you a family member of Sophia? She's been in a car accident and is at Unmean Hospital. Please come over. Her injuries are quite serious. This hospital was an international hospital. After hanging up the phone, I sat on the sofa in silence for a long time. In the end, I decided to go. After this, we would never see each other again. When I rushed to the hospital, she was still in surgery. If it were in the past, I would have been so heartbroken that I would have cried. But now I felt nothing. I don't know how long I waited. Sophia was wheeled out of the operating room and then into the ward. I stayed by her bedside all night. When I woke up the next day, Sophia was also awake, and she was looking at me with love in her eyes. Lucas, I told you that you still care about me. When I'm better, shall we go back to our home country together? After we remarry, we can have a child. The thought of a family of 3 is really wonderful. I shook my head. Sophia, it's time for you to wake up. I don't love you now, so there's no way I'll go back to our home country with you. I don't know why you treated me with disdain when I had you in my heart and eyes. But when I made up my mind to leave you, you just wouldn't. Let me go. It's really annoying. Sophia seemed to be immersed in her own world and refused to be awakened by me. How could that be? You're the one who loves me the most in this world. How could you be willing to leave me? I let out a sigh. Nothing stays the same forever. Sophia, I don't love you anymore. I've completely let you go. If you want me to be at peace, please don't bother me again. After saying that, I was silent for a second and then left. Sophia was so anxious that she pulled out the 4 in her hand and tried to get out of bed. But because her leg was injured, she fell down before she could. I didn't even touch the ground. After that, Sophia really didn't appear in my sight anymore. I officially started a new life and accepted the blind dates introduced to me by my brothers and sisters. I would also treat each blind date seriously. People should always look forward. On an ordinary afternoon, I saw a news item on the domestic news that made me sigh. A woman set her house on fire and died tragically in the fire. I saw the address of the burning house. It was the house that Sophia and I used to live in when Sophia was found. She was still tightly holding the diamond ring that I had given her all those years ago. After seeing this news, I didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache. Everyone has their own destiny. I focused on my experiments. My next goal is to become an internationally top-notch pharmaceutical scientist.